Good evening, I'm Prarambh Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Nepali Congress leader Aftab Alam found guilty of murdering those injured in a bomb blast by burning them alive in a brick furnace. Rohtak District Court slaps life sentence to 4 including Alam. Corruption reported in free medicine. Officials of Monomoan Cardiothoracic Vascular and Transplant Center found selling medicines returned by patients. Most 5-year plans fail to meet their targets. Draft of 16th plan aims to curb poverty from 20% to 12%. Experts doubt efficient implementation. And Team Nepal to play the 5-match 2020 series against West Indies A announced. Rhinos enthused to play against World Cup giants. First match of the series slated for Saturday. District Court Rohtak has slapped a life sentence for 4, including Nepali Congress leader Mohammad Aftab Alam for their involvement in Rajapur bomb blast in Rohtak. A bench of District Court Judge Matrika Prasad Acharya slapped life sentence to Alam, Sheikh Saraz, his brother Muhammad Alam and Badri Sahani. After being arrested on 13th October 2019, Alam was sentenced to judicial custody by the District Court of Rohtak. Alam is currently behind bars at Nakku jail in Lalitpur. Alam was alleged of burning O.C. Akhtar and Trilok Pratap Singh among a few others who were alive in the furnace of a brick factory. Now, an internal probe has brought to surface widespread corruption at the pharmacy of the Monomohan Cardiothoracic Vascular and Transplant Center in the capital's Maharajganj. A committee formed on July last year under the coordination of nursing controller Bimala Neopane revealed that staff at the hospital pharmacy had resold medicines returned by patients without entering them in the system. The 3-member committee was formed after speculations that free medicines were being sold from the pharmacy. The committee has identified 7 individuals as perpetrators behind the irregularity, including the pharmacy in charge. The committee had looked through the billing records of the pharmacy and the records of doctors' recommendation for free medicines, along with the inventory of medicines in dispensary. Likewise, it had gone through the records of medicines sold and returned until the Nepali month of Jait last year. The hospital has been providing free health services and medicines to heart patients below the age of 15 and those above 75. The irregularity has been understood to begin from the requisition form, which is filled by the nurses upon doctor's recommendation. The pharmacy staff are believed to have released more medicines than recommended and then using the surplus medicines to sell when patients return them after being discharged. The report states 46 patients had returned medicines and equipment which was later sold by the staff, with the corruption amount estimated at over 1.3 million rupees. Annually, corruption of around 60 million rupees is speculated to be taking place through medicines. Larger scale of corruption was reported during coronavirus pandemic. Saying the existing laws and mechanisms could not address the problems related to cooperatives, the government has concluded that separate laws should be formulated. The government, therefore, has decided to formulate separate laws as well. Today's meeting of the Council of Ministers decided to formulate separate legal arrangements to address the problems faced by the victims of fraud related to cooperatives. The meeting has decided to initiate procedures for formulation of legal provisions at the earliest to ensure the safety and return of deposits. A proper mechanism is to be established after formulation of laws. The government has said that the problems related to cooperatives are to be resolved through fast track. Meanwhile, the government has also decided to direct related departments to contain wildfire and curb the losses caused by fire in several parts of the country. Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Padam Giri has said that a parliamentary committee could be formed to investigate Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Ravi Lamechhane for his alleged involvement in the case related to fraud of cooperatives. Largest party of the parliament and main opposition, Nepali Congress, has been demanding formation of a parliamentary probe committee to investigate Home Minister Lamechhane for his alleged involvement in the fraud related to cooperatives. Speaking with Kantipur News, Minister Giri said that the government mechanism was investigating on the allegations of Nepali Congress against Lamechhane and said that a parliamentary probe committee could be formed if the government mechanism could not reach a conclusion. It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before we ask today's question, let us take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we asked, what do you term the talks about the return of former President Vidya Devi Bhandari to active politics? 29% were for A, normal, 39% were for B, against the constitution, and 32% were for C, drawing controversy. And here is our today's question. What do you term the law minister's statement about the Minister for Home Affairs being investigated? Your options are A, legal process, B, policy of maintaining pressure, and C, dilly-dallying. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Local residents of Motihani Mohottari have suffered massive losses because of yesterday's fire. Details of the losses caused by the fire have yet to be collected, while relief materials are also yet to be distributed to the victims. The local residents have only received beaten rice, sugar and some noodles and have been compelled to spend their second night under open sky. The Disaster Management Committee has held a meeting and decided to provide 20,000 rupees to the victim families. However, the problems of the women in their pregnancies, children and senior citizens are only growing further. In our public voice segment, we have asked in several provinces what should be done to prevent fires. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
आगोलाई त्यो बाटो हिँड्नेले पनि त्यसलाई चाहिँ देखेपछि अलिकति सुरक्षा गरेर निभाउनु तिर ध्यान पुर्याउनु पर्छ।
आफ्नो बारी वरिपरि बालेका चाहिँ फोहोरहरुलाई चाहिँ राम्रोसँग निभाउनु सकेको खण्डमा
बालबालिकालाई सलाई लाइटर दिनु भएन।
चुरोट खाएर ठुटा चुरोटहरु राम्रोसित निभाउनु पर्छ।
पिकनिक स्पोटहरुको ठाउँमा लापरवाही तरिकाले आगो बालेर छोड्नु भएन।
सरकारले बनाएका नीति नियमहरु डण्डोलो विरुद्धको अभियानहरुमा कार्यान्वयन गर्नु पर्यो।
जहाँ हाम्रो काम सकियो आगो वाला कुरा त्यहाँ हामी पानी राखेर निभाइदिने त्यसलाई।
मान्छेलाई आफ्नै सचेत हुनुपर्छ आगोको लागि।
सामाजिक संस्था सरकार पक्षले पनि अलि चना खोलिनु पर्ने।
दमकल लगायतका अत्यावश्यक वस्तुहरू आगो लागि नियन्त्रणको लागि जुन परेको हुन्छ नि तयारी अवस्थामा राख्नु पर्यो।
प्रज्वलनशील वस्तुहरू केटाकेटीको पहुँच भन्दा टाढा राख्न जरुरी देख्दछु।
It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. Karnali Chief Minister Yamlal Khandel has received the vote of confidence. At today's meeting of the Province Assembly, Chief Minister Khandel received the vote of confidence from 23 members. 12 votes were against him. Out of the 40 Province Assembly members, 35 had attended today's meeting. Khandel received votes from 10 members of CPN-UML, 13 of CPN Maya Center, and 1 Province Assembly member of CPN Unified Socialist. 2 weeks have gone by since the end of the Parliament session. In absence of Parliament meeting, the parliamentary committees should have held discussions on the bills and expedited process for formulation of laws. However, neither the committees have been able to generate consensus on the bills, nor the ruling and opposition parties have held dialogues to remove obstructions at the Parliament. Bill session of the Federal Parliament was ended on April 14 amidst the obstructions of main opposition Nepali Congress. After Nepali Congress obstructed the Parliament with its demand of formation of a parliamentary proof committee to investigate the alleged involvement of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Ravi Lamechhane in the fraud related to cooperatives, the ruling coalition considered ending the Parliament session as the best option. However, most parliamentary committees shouldering the responsibility of holding discussions on remaining bills have remained inactive in the past 2 weeks. A total of 24 bills are under consideration at the moment. With the bills related to transitional justice, Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, Constitutional Council and School Education among others yet to take the shape of laws, public have remained at the receiving end. However, following the end of the session, the committees have not been able to seek consensus on the bills with the objective of presenting them in the upcoming session. Parliamentarians who should have been holding discussions at the meetings of the committees in absence of Parliament session are busy in their electoral constituencies or for the by-election. The Federal Parliament has formulated only 4 laws in the period of 15 months. Meetings of a few committees held after the end of the winter session of the Parliament have not been productive as well. Failure in holding regular meetings of the committee also disturbs the main responsibility of the Parliament. The ruling coalition has been blaming the parliamentary committee chairpersons for the poor performance of the committees. Bills introduced by the government are under consideration at 6 committees of the House of Representatives. While bills are not sent to the Public Accounts Committee, 3 other committees do not have bills at the moment. The government has made preparations to call the budget session of the parliament on the second week of May. However, with the obstruction of the main opposition, uncertainties remain regarding the regular operation of the parliament. At a time when the government should be presenting its policies and programs, presenting the budget and ensuring its endorsement, the ruling and opposition parties have not been holding political dialogue for regular operation of the parliament. With the major parties of the parliament prioritizing power, the parliament has not been focused on development of laws and addressing issues of public concern. In absence of the parliament session, chairpersons of the committees must have made efforts to seek consensus on the bills. However, leaving dozens of laws required for implementation of the constitution stranded, leaders of major parties and chairpersons and members of the parliamentary committees are busy elsewhere. If this is to continue, the coming session of the parliament is certain to become ineffective as well. All security preparations for the by-elections in Ilam Constituency No. 2 and Bazang Constituency 1 on 27th of April have been completed. 1,363 police personnel are said to be deployed in Ilam and 1,024 in Bazang. The Nepal Police Headquarters has anticipated religious violence in Ilam and prepared accordingly. In case of Bazang, geographical constraints have been put into considerations while forming the security plans. 19 voting stations and 37 voting centers in Ilam and 32 of the 93 voting centers in Bazang have been listed as extra sensitive areas. The police headquarters has said they will use force if anyone attempts to incite violence during the election. President Ramchandra Paudel has also approved the use of army for the by-elections upon the recommendation of the Council of Ministers. It is now time for the international news. Voting for the second phase of Lok Sabha polls will be held tomorrow for 89 seats in 13 states, with Congress leader Rahul Gandhi seeking a second consecutive term from Wayanad in Kerala. A total of 1,210 candidates will contest in this phase. All 20 seats of Kerala will go to polls, besides 14 of the 28 seats in Karnataka, 13 seats in Rajasthan, 8 seats each in Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, 7 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 5 seats each in Assam and Bihar, 3 seats each in Chhattisgarh and West Bengal, and 1 seat each in Manipur, Tripura and Jammu and Kashmir. Hundreds of thousands of voters will have to bear the searing heat when they step out to exercise their franchise in the second phase of the Lok Sabha elections tomorrow. The first of the 7-phase elections held last Friday for 102 seats across 21 states and union territories saw a voter turnout of around 65.5%. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor, actor-turned-politician Arun Govil, former Karnataka Chief Minister S.D. Kumaraswamy are among the key candidates, while BJP's Hema Malini, Om Birla and Gajendra Singh Shekhawat seeking a hat-trick of wins from their respective constituencies. Hema Malini, a popular actor and a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, is seeking re-election from Mathura, a constituency she has represented since 2014. Russian President Vladimir Putin has reminded prosecutors that seizing assets and turning them over to state ownership is only justified in cases where failing to act might jeopardize Russia's national security. Many assets in Russia have changed hands in the last 2 years. Hundreds of foreign companies left Russia after Moscow sent its troops into Ukraine in February 2022, in some cases selling cheaply to local management. Moscow has taken temporary control of assets owned by several Western companies, including Fortum Carlsberg and Uniper. The number of cases where prosecutors seize assets through the courts, including those related to Russia's defense industry, has increased, with some related to privatizations that are around 30 years old. More than 1 trillion rubles, which is roughly around $10.9 billion worth of strategic enterprises and assets, were transferred to state ownership by Russian courts last year. Prosecutor General Igor Krasnov added further in this regard. State property was widely auctioned off in the 1990s when so-called oligarchs amassed huge fortunes, creating a vast gulf between the super-rich and ordinary Russians. But though some of those deals may have taken place without federal oversight, Putin said combing through deals from that time was not necessary if businesses were operating successfully. The Finance Ministry, meanwhile, has listed about 30 companies in which the state may reduce its shareholding while keeping a controlling stake, as it seeks to foster more domestic private investment and bolster budget revenues as well. We have more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break. The government has given a final shape to the draft of the 16th plan, which aims to sustain an annual growth rate of 7.1% for the next 5 years and reduce the poverty rate from 20% to 12%. The plan includes targets related to good governance, social justice and prosperity similar to those of the previous plans. The draft has been given a final shape by including basic terminologies such as increasing agricultural production, creation of jobs for youth and investing in infrastructures. 16th meeting of the National Development Council, chaired by Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, gave a final shape to the draft. The Planning Commission had sought final recommendations from all political parties and shareholders or stakeholders to ensure ownership of the plan. 7 groups had furnished additional recommendations on the draft as well. At the meeting, politicians said that the nation had failed to achieve development goals even in 67 years of planning because of lapses in policies and programs and called for effective implementation. Even with the 15th plan nearing its end, the nation has not met targeted achievements in any sector. Economic growth rate is barely 4%. Targets of employment and poverty alleviation are yet to be met as well. Officials of the Planning Commission have claimed that the 16th plan has been developed based on the learnings from previous plans. The 16th plan aims to achieve an annual economic growth rate of 7.1%, increase per capita income from $1,410 to $2,413 in the next 5 years, while decreasing unemployment rate to 5%. Our current gross domestic production figures around 5.3 trillion rupees. The target is to increase the GDP to 9.1 trillion in the next 5 years. The 5-year plan also aims to promote manufacturing industries and retaining the productive young human resource in the country. Meanwhile, stakeholders have said that continuous slow economic growth, structural problems of the economy, reduction in size of manufacturing industries, and ill-managed programs of social security pose challenges in meeting the targets. The government can win confidence of the public only if the plan is effectively and efficiently implemented. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
Team Nepal to play the 5-match 2020 series against West Indies A have been announced. Head coach Monty Desai announced the 16-member team, which includes Arif Sheikh. Arif was not included in the team which had travelled to Oman for the ACC Men's Premier Cup. Akash Chand, who was included as an alternate player for the Premier Cup, has also been included in the squad. The team led by skipper Rohit Paudel includes Dipender Singh Aidi, Asif Sheikh, Kushal Vurtel, Gulshan Jha, Kushal Malla, Anil Shah, Sandeep Zora, Lalit Rasbansi, Karan Kesi, Sompal Kami, Pradesh GC, Avinash Bohra and Vivek Yadav. The series between Nepal and West Indies A begins this Saturday. The squad of West Indies A arrived Nepal yesterday with 12 players who have already featured for the West Indies senior team. This series is significant for Team Nepal ahead of the T20 World Cup. Following poor performance in Oman, Nepal missed the opportunity of securing their spot in the Asia Cup and Emerging Teams Asia Cup, and the Rhinos will be looking forward to make amends and make a comeback. Madhya Province secured a super over win against Sudur Paschim at the National 2020 Cricket Tournament. In the match played at Mulpani, Madhya were put to bat where they posted 121 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. Rohan BK top scored with 46 runs, while skipper Rahul Mandal added 23 and Abhishek Tiwari remained unbeaten at 21 runs. Naren South, Hemant Dhami and Sher Malla picked 2 wickets each, while Narayan Joshi had 1 scalp. In reply, Sudur Paschim also posted 121 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in 20 overs. Basant Khatri top scored with 38 runs, Kiran Thagunna remained unbeaten at 23, while Abhishek Pal scored 22. Ranjit Kumar was the pick of the Madhya bowlers with 3 wickets. Vishal Tushling had 2 scalps, while Abhishek Tiwari and Samsad Mansoori shared a wicket apiece. In the super over, Sudur Paschim scored 7 runs, losing a wicket, while Madhya chased the target also by losing 1 wicket. Following the defeat, Sudur Paschim have crashed out of the tournament. In another match, Koshi suffered a 5-wicket defeat to Karnali. Koshi were the only team failing to register a single win in the tournament, participated by 7 provinces. That is all for the moment. Up next is the news in Nepali. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.